Delighted on this episode to be talking with author, creator, artist Austin McKinley, and we have Dirk Manning joining us eminently, I believe.
That is the plan.
He is flying here as we speak into this Zoom. Austin, I thought I would go ahead and get us on and get us chatting about your work with Dirk Manning and curious about how you got into this world of comics.
Well, I like to think of comics as my first language. I definitely learned to write in a cartoon fashion even before I could compose prose stories. I grew up reading the Sunday comics with my grandfather, and I've always been entranced with that ability to show and tell as a means of expression. And so there was never a time I was not producing comics. I made my first mini comics and sold them to my friends in middle school in the early 90s. And it's just always been something that I've done and been passionate about.
Cool. I have good memories of creating my own mini comics. I think I went overboard and I took way too many pre-orders and then I couldn't deliver. So somewhere along the way I got frustrated and left that, but it sounds like that's the dream that you followed from early on.
For sure. I've branched out and worked in other mediums. I've done some filmmaking, I've written some novels, but I always come back to comics as a holistic form of storytelling.
And there he is. Dirk Manning has materialized. He has flown here from the ether,
From the
the
form of
creative
that.
world. That's
Yes.
right.
Was that
That's right.
is that a butterfly? Is that a bat? I don't know.
We'll
I don't
fix
know.
it in
It's been a long
post.
day. I should have
It's kind
Yeah.
of
dropped
like
the
a
smoke
pigeon.
bomb. Sorry.
That was a very believable bat. I feel like that was well
Thank you.
done. Yes.
Austin taught me everything I know, so that like we can give him all the credit for that amazing bat pantomime.
All the hand gestures, you know.
Every hand gesture I know came from Austin McKinley. He taught me all of them.
Largely through aggressive driving, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Well,
No,
it's been a
he's the
busy
nice one.
year, right?
No, he's the nice one. He would never do anything aggressively.
Cool. Well, you've had a busy year. Uh, I mean, all sorts of creating that has been out in the world. London After Midnight. There's, of course, your collaboration with Josh Mallerman that is out. Yes, there it is. There it is. I have my
That's on the
copy in
way
that
to the
ready.
warehouse right now, so that's coming soon. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And we are also talking about Mystery, the Tales of Mystery on this episode. And there's something, source point, something that we should probably mention as well. But we have lots to dig into. Tell me about how you met. Tell me about where your journey started together, please.
And
Gosh.
I entered a web or an ad on digital webbing
Yeah. Yeah.
for Nightmare World, and I think I want to say it was 2004 or five.
Yeah, that would be right. It was
Yeah.
I had an ad up looking for someone to help color the line work of Joshua Ross, who did London After Midnight and then also did the Malerman book, RSVP ESP. I
And
was
the
looking
original
for
artist on Tales of Mystery.
yeah. And well, the first story you colored was the Milk of Human Kindness for Nightmare World.
Right.
And enough time has passed, I can say this. We had the ad up for the colorist and someone jumped in and they colored Joshua's story. It was fine. It was very airbrushy, which is really not the style that Joshua was looking for or that I was looking for. But back then we were publishing Nightmare World as an online comic. We had to get 2 pages out every week. And I was like, well, it is what it is. The story was so detailed as a lot of Joshua's artwork is
Yeah, it
that
takes place in a bar, like, a
yeah,
dance club kind of thing. So just huge crowd scenes,
yes.
nothing but
And it was like a rave, so it's all these different
yeah.
colors and stuff like that. And Joshua always prefers more like a very specific color palette. And this airbrushed artist, colorist was good, but wasn't really it. And then Austin kind of answered the ad and was like, and I said, okay, well, let's give this a shot just for fun. Spoiler, we went with Austin. So I dropped the other one. I said, look, we appreciate this. This isn't going to be the right thing. I feel bad because I respect and honor the work people put in, but obviously it was the right choice because Austin and I now have worked together for over 20 years together as a colorist, as a illustrator. We've kind of like co-mingled and like co-written like some short stories together for Tales of Mystery for some of the bonus books and stuff like that. One of my longest friends in the industry and longest friends personally. So all from a help wanted ad and digital
Yep.
webbing.
So nice. Yeah. I've heard stories like this of an artist comes in and they're just not quite the thing. They have a great thing, but it's not quite the thing.
Hmm.
So very cool that the two of you have found a style that works and you've gelled. And I imagine the creative process has changed and grown over the years. You probably have a shorthand with each other at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. When we uh sort of collaborate on like a sequence of if we're doing like an outline method kind of thing. Most of the stuff that Dirk gives me is full script, but occasionally we'll knock around. What if this were to happen? What if that?
Hmm.
And those are always super fun because we have a similar sense of diabolical humor. Um, so we make each other laugh, and if
Right.
we both are like, yeah, that's what has to happen, then you know.
Yeah, yeah. And Austin is such a cinematic artist too, which, when you're working with different artists on different projects, you always want to match the artist to the project and to their style. Austin is so cinematic, right? And he can draw a scene with two characters driving in a car, and I can just alternate basically variations of the same panel back and forth, and he'll nail it. Conversely, we can do these big, epic, crazy fight scenes like we have in Tales of Mystery Volume 6, and he nails it, right? But again, a lot of it just comes down to recognizing what he does and what he brings to the table, and that allows me to craft a story around it that way. He's a guy that can draw something that's horrifying just with as much impact as something that's funny. And that's also a
Mhm.
very, very rare trait, right? Um, I've never wanted Mystery to look like a traditional horror book, super dark and just, like that creepy vibe. I want it to look more unassuming in a way, I guess, for lack of a better word. Uh, and with Austin's illustrating work especially, it can I can lean into again that cinematic dynamic style he does. Tales of Mystery Volume 6 is a very action-packed comic. There's a lot of dread, there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of action. And he just really just everything that we come up with, he just nails it out of the park and makes a lot of the scenes better than I even wrote them, quite frankly.
One of the things I have always appreciated about Dirk is that he does uh, craft a story for or to take advantage of the strengths of the artists he's working with. Um, one of the first time I met you in person,
Hmm.
uh, and you saw some of my work, you were like, "You should draw a story for Nightmare World.
Yeah,
What do you
because I
like to
only knew
draw?"
him as a colorist at first. I didn't know he illustrated as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But that was like the first thing he asked me. What do you want to draw? I got stories. What do you want? What do you like?
Yeah.
And so yeah, at this point, uh, you know, he'll write scenes, knowing that they're gonna make me go, oh yeah, I have to draw that. That's gonna be fun.
You're one of the only artists too I've worked with that I'm like, okay, well, I'll do something loose Marvel style. Like on these 4 pages, this needs to happen. Have fun. Okay, then picking up
Mhm.
at page 5, and I just know what he's gonna do is gonna be better than I could come up with it anyway, right? I'm like, all right, these 4 pages hit these 3 beats and this big action scene. Okay, then because like when you look at his work like Riot Force and stuff like that, there's again just such a dynamicism to it. Um, So it's just very, very fun and very collaborative. And then Austin also being an accomplished writer in his own right, I know that he gets the beats and he gets the pacing and just there's something organic and working with him that's just a ton of fun, man. And like I said, and he and just we just we laugh a lot when we write stuff, which is fun too. Even though it's like some of these horrible things that we're writing and see what I mean?
That's gonna be awful. Let's do it.
Right. Like, this is horrible. Like I write a scene and like it's so like dreadful that like Drina Joe, our editor, was like threatening to quit the book and stuff like that. And I'm just laughing. Austin said they're trying to be the middle guy, like, well, blah blah blah. But secretly I know he's laughing too, right? He's like,
This is why I'm told people that do horror are like the kindest people in the world because you get to exercise all of that. You get all of those things out
Sure.
there.
mhm,
You get to
mhm.
travel to the spaces in storytelling that sometimes people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong on this, correct me, Austin. I always equate you as more of like a humor comedy guy than a horror guy.
I'm not really a horror guy, you know. I think probably my first love is the sort of sci-tech adventure kind of
Right,
stuff, but
right,
that lends
right,
Uh,
itself to a certain kind of, tongue-in-cheek levity. I like to
right.
I like to fold it all in there. Um, but getting to work with you pushes me to do, like I would never draw a giant vampire bat in one of my stories. That's not where I go, but you know,
Right.
uh it's cool to find that in myself, like you always challenge me to draw stuff that I wouldn't think of if I was just doing a story by myself. So that's the joy of collaboration uh is finding those challenges of um pushing each other into new areas creatively.
But see, the thing is too with Austin, and I say humor, even though I know ultimately you're more like a science fiction, science techie kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Austin is witty. He is so funny and so quick, man. So I even know like when I'm like writing a scene with like a giant vampire bat crashing through a giant, plate glass window, when he draws it, there's just this inherent way that it can be terrifying, but it's still just it's fun in its horror, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
feel bad that I never get a chance to give you more like the sci tech stuff because that's so just not what I do. So instead, it's like, okay, well, instead, let's just do like a pack of vampires hunting someone through an office building or something, right? And then just seeing what he does with it is just it's just fascinating and it's just invigorating to watch. I'm very fortunate to work with so many great artists that have different styles. But there's also a reason Austin, one of those people I work with repeatedly, like Joshua Ross is another one, right? That
mhm.
we always find our way back just because it's like the yin and the yang of it. It just creates, I think, a product that's sometimes like greater than the sum of its parts in a way.
For sure. Yeah, I think that is one of the other joys of collaboration is, if art is self-discovery, working with other people, allows you to discover things about each other, about what a story can be, that you wouldn't get at if you were working by yourself, and all those different combinations allow you to explore different facets of your uh, creative impulse.
Yeah. And I mean, you can be witty in a story, you can be witty in prose, but there really there's a wit to certain artistic styles too. I mean, I think anybody that's looked at Mad Magazine or Cracked can kind of pick up on some
Sure.
of those aspects. There are those levels of humor. What attracts you to stories that sometimes go to both the horrific and the humorous?
I always say
Me?
a good horror story answers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, I'll say this real quick because this is gonna volley right to you, I promise. To me, a good horror story, I think, is a lot like a good speculative fiction or science fiction story. Because I think
Mhm.
a good horror story answers the question, what would you do if? right? And I think,
Hmm.
and correct me if I'm wrong here, Austin, but I think a lot of speculative fiction, science fiction also explores that. What if this was a thing, or what happens when we get there? So I think the Venn diagram in that regard is much closer than we might suspect. My take on it just involves more like monsters and supernatural things. But what is at one time considered supernatural may eventually become science too.
For sure. I think one of the reasons it's important to have comedy in your horror and horror in your comedy is that the brain is a change recognizing machine. Like anything that is one note. If you're playing music and all you do is scream and you never whisper, it's not interesting. So
Hmm.
in the same way that you use light and shadow or volume, if you're in a film, you might have a quiet moment, you might have a loud moment. Um, Comedy and horror go hand in hand that way. The horror is more horrifying because of the levity, and vice versa.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say, spoken like a true filmmaker, right? Um, yeah. Tales of Mystery Volume 6, Mystery and Jason, you and I have even talked about, I think, this series, at least in passing over the years,
Hmm.
is very much a horror noir series. It's very dark. And we are volume 6, which is a perfect jumping in point. If people just see the microme cover, they like vampires, they just like the talk conversation Austin and I are having and want to see what us two chuckleheads are getting up to, even though it's a volume 6, it's a perfect jumping in point.
Yeah, it's kind of a self-contained pot boiler. Like it's
Yeah.
you
But
don't
it also
need to have followed the whole series in order to enjoy it.
right. But at the same time, it also rewards readers of the whole series because there's elements
Sure,
that date all the way back to Nightmare World, for that
there's
matter.
definitely some payoffs.
Huge, yeah, huge payoffs. And the the thing with this series and working with Austin on this is the fact that I hate to keep saying this, but he's just so good, right? And even though the series is so dark, working with him on this volume allows me to inject humor into it that's organic. It's not
Hmm.
forced. It's not like here's a banana peel, right? Oh, whoop, there they go. So we have volume 6, which again is a perfect jumping in point. This is a dread-laden volume. We are in the history of the whole series. We're deep into Act Two. When you think of like Star Wars terms, we're in the Empire Strikes Back right now. We're in the part of the series where the villain chops off the guy's hand and says, "I banged your mom." Right? That's where this volume sits. And I joked earlier about how Drina Joe, our editor, got so mad at some point in this book, she like walked off the book for a minute because it's like that heavy. And she's so not a horror person. She's like, how could you? I'm like, it's horror and it's organic. Tell me it's wrong, right? I mean, this is what's going to happen, right? Right. Um, so despite how dread laden this volume is, the humor in a way almost again, it's very organic in the art with what Austin does, just as much as there's scenes in this book he draws that are just horrific, but there's also scenes that are funny, but it's organic. And like Austin said, it almost makes the dark parts even darker, that there is some humor to be had to some characters and what's happening.
For sure, it
Right.
can work kind of as a misdirection, as a putting the audience off their guard, and uh, then something really awful happens.
Right.
It's uh, you're like,
I'm thinking
well,
of, yeah, yeah.
why didn't I see that coming? Because you were looking over here.
Right, exactly. There's this bit that's really funny, and then you realize, oh, but we're also in this horrible situation, right?
Hmm.
Um, Horror is often about hubris, right?
For sure,
But then again, so is comedy.
sure.
Hmm.
They overlap. They overlap beautifully. And one of the things I'm so excited about in Tales of Mystery, Volume 6, Blood for Blood, is that we see that. We see hubris unfold in horrific ways, but also in really funny ways, and then ways that are victorious and ways that are tragic. So I'm exceptionally excited for people to see this volume. Again, if they're new readers, you can jump right in and start with this one. One of the things we did on this Kickstarter is we did an I'm New Here pledge, where people can get the whole series to date. Uh, they can get the omnibus, which collects the first 4 volumes all together. And then they get volume
Hmm.
5, which Austin also illustrated, and then get volume 6 as well. You can just get 5 and 6. You can get all the Austin and I stuff, all the Act 2. You can get the pledge level to give me everything with the Fuck Vampires t-shirt. Sorry, F Vampires t-shirt. And the you can bleep that.
Cut or uncut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and the Tales of Mystery sunglasses. Because of course we have sunglasses because it's the vampire volume, right?
Makes
Do the
total sense.
sunglasses allow you to spot vampires in the wild? That's what I want to know.
Well, they're solar powered sunglasses, so yes.
Oh, so they only
Very
work during
nice.
the daylight.
You
I was
you
gonna
store
do a
Seems
them up
like
solar
all
it's
night.
powered
going to be
I was gonna do a solar powered flashlight, but that just didn't seem fair.
helpful.
One day I'm gonna
I'm,
do a campaign with a sound activated sticker.
Hmm.
that would be awesome. Yeah. I'm also
Sure would.
noticing you've got that hand next to you right there, and you were talking about this being the volume where it's like chopping off the hand, banging the mom. So, is that the hand of which you're like, I'm not telling whose that is.
Yeah, no, I will tell you, this is Chuck Palahniuk's hand.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, therein lies a tale, but that's a tale for another day, I suppose. I
Yes,
got
yeah.
choked out by Chuck Palahniuk to get that hand. There's a
Wow.
picture of me on Instagram being chucked out by Chuck Palahniuk. But I
Talk
got, but I got
about
it, but I got the
like
hand.
the humor and horror. I mean, if this is one of your mentor texts, yes, yes, that balance is there. Yeah.
I always said if you're gonna get into a fight, you can get beat, just don't come out looking worse.
And this with the guy that wrote Fight Club, no less. So there's
That too,
that.
and Choke. He actually wrote a book called Choke as well. So yes,
Yes, he did. Yeah. Um, well,
layers upon
speaking of,
layers here is what we offer in this podcast.
that's right, that's right. All the metaphors for everything that we've been talking about. Uh, I'm curious too, talking about that heaviness, the weight of Volume 6.
Mhm.
How creatively does that feel for you? Do you have to step away from it? Is it something that is frenetic for you? You engage in it and go, it's nice to get this out and finally get to be sort of carrying this moment in the story? Do you write apology notes to the characters? How does that work?
If you don't mind, I want to push this to Austin first before I answer. Austin, there
Sure.
was some really heavy stuff in this, and I never asked you this, so this is a great question, Jason. Was there any parts of the story without giving away what there were that you drew and you're just like, because there's some heavy stuff in here. Did it hit you or were you just riding along?
Yeah, you know, you uh you have to live with it when you're drawing a little bit more, like every page, a real good day I might get 2 pages done, but a lot of times it's 1 page a day. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, when there's a really horrific sequence, that's going to be a week for me.
Um, yeah.
And like I sort of disassociate when I'm drawing. It's more about the craft. I mean, I think about the emotion mostly when I'm doing the plotting and paneling, and by the time I get to really drawing it, um, it's mostly uh, not that involved. But sometimes it is. Sometimes it takes some living with.
Because you
Uh,
lettered this volume as well, and I'm
yeah,
thinking about, I can't say it without giving it away, but
I know the part you're talking about, but
yeah, okay, okay,
you just
you
want to make sure that it lands, and so
yeah.
I like lettering it for that reason because I can really make sure that the words and the pictures are working together to create the impact that we're going for. Um, so yeah, you do have to grapple with it some, but that's part of the fun is seeing is trying to come up with stuff that you feel and that will make other people feel.
Yeah. It's funny because when you're like, yeah, I think sometimes people get the impression, well, you write it and you move on. Mr. E is a character that's lived in my head for 20 years,
Yeah.
right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
never left. He literally strolled in out of the blue. To this day, I don't know where he came from. I don't. He just walked in and he stayed and he's never left. And there's characters in Tales of Mystery Volume 6 that have been in the series since Volume 1, that have some big moments in this volume. And even see, Austin and I, we have our psychic shorthand here, so we know the scene we're talking
Hmm.
about. We don't have to say what it is. We didn't have to like give a hint, like, yeah, the blah blah, the ixnay and the in the his day or whatever. Um, Even just thinking about it right now, my heart gets heavy. I feel the heaviness in my chest. And when I was writing this volume, my rule when I write Tales of Mystery in order to honor the book is no plot armor, right? I'm not going to protect a character just to advance the plot. And in fact, in volume 6, between 5 and 6, certain characters have done certain things that have literally shortened the whole story because they've stepped on the gas. And I know that sounds crazy to people, but the characters have autonomy in the story. And they then end up doing things like, oh, well, the story was going to be this long, but now it's this long because they've accelerated things. And I'm mad because I don't get to do the thing I wanted to do, but now they threw gas on the fire, man. And there's scenes in volume 6 that are so heavy. I almost worried if they were too much. And we live in a golden age of horror cinema right now. Movies like Bring Her Back was just dread laden, just amazing. But oh my God, When Evil Lurks. I mean, Heredity, going back a little bit farther. Movies that are
Hmm.
just crushingly dreadful. And there's scenes in Tales of Mystery Volume 6 that, despite some of the humor that's in the book, are crushingly dreadful. It's a scene Austin and I were talking about. And I joked earlier about Drina and Joe, our editor, like walking off the book for a minute because she said it was too, 'cause she's not a horror person, which is good. I think you need someone in a way that's not a horror person. It just doesn't cheer on every terrible thing you do. She's a good counterbalance to a lot of that stuff. But even now, part of me is like, was it too much? And the answer is no, because there's no plot armor. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to bad people. Something bad things just happen. And that's important to the integrity of the story, but I live with it. I'm living with it right now. I will live with it when it comes out. When that book is on my table, 6, 9 months from now, whatever it is, and people pick it up and they go, "Ooh, the new mystery." Part of me is going to be like, "Oh man, I hope you know what you're getting into." Because again, at times it's funny, but at times it is just heavy. But there's no plot armor. There's no plot armor for anybody. I wish there was because there's things I'm not going to get to do in the series that I wanted to do because of how some of the characters have laid things out. But yeah, you live with it every day. I live with it every day, and I don't apologize to Mystery because he's caused a lot of his own problems, quite frankly.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things that draws us to these stories is seeing people face these dilemmas, these no-win situations, and how they choose between two bad options
Right.
defines the character, you know, like that is
Yeah.
the purpose of narrative is to explore those ideas. And so if you know, if the dilemmas are just kind of blah, it's not going to work. You know,
Right.
we have to care about what they choose and we have to feel for them that they don't have a good choice.
Yeah. And going back to volume one of Tales of Mystery, the first time Mr. Rhee meets Charity, she offers to help him, and he literally throws her number away right in front of her.
Mhm.
And at the time, people are like, well, okay, whatever. Well, Charity becomes a very integral part of the story as we go forward. And we realize, man, if Mr. Rhee would have just trusted her or been able to trust anyone in volume one, a lot of these other terrible things wouldn't have happened. But he's had so much trauma in his life that he acts in a way that maybe is not always necessarily in his best interest. Years ago, someone said to me that's read all of Mystery up to that point. They said, I know what Tales of Mystery is really about. And I said, well, what do you think it's about? And they kind of looked around and they go, it's about post-traumatic stress disorder. And I just went, right.
Mhm.
There's a million books out there about monster hunters, but they're always so suave. They're always so put together, right? They're always so bulletproof, right? John Constantine, yeah, he's a damaged character, but he's suave. Doctor Strange, Hellboy, even to me, it's like if you lived in a world where you fought monsters and anyone could be a monster at any time, how do you make friends? How do you trust anybody? How do you tell people about your job? Right? That's one of the big underlying things in this series is what this lifestyle would truly do to someone. Then on top of that, in this volume, and this is one of the things that Austin captured so well, when you're trapped in a confined space with a pack of vampires and there's no plot armor, how do you really get out of this unscathed? How do you survive? Well, the
Mhm.
odds are you don't. Welcome to volume six. The stakes are very high. No pun intended.
Ah.
Yeah, dang it. Wait, we missed that one.
It was
How did we
right
miss that one? We had to have made that
Game's
joke at
still
some
going. We
point.
might have a new tagline.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The stakes are
Stakes
higher
have
than
never
ever.
been higher.
We
That's
had to have
right.
made that joke at some point, man.
Hmm.
We're both too goofy, but anyway. So yeah, that's where we sit in this. And yeah, so I live with it, and I feel terrible for Mystery. And I wish he'd have a happy ending. I wish everyone, well, that's not true. I wish most people in life would have a happy ending. Uh, but I'm just being real. I would like to be the type of person that could wish everyone to have a happy ending, but I wish most people would have
Yes,
happy endings. But it's a horror story.
such it is. I want to test the psychic connection of you two. I want to do that before we talk about source point and the details of the Kickstarter and things like that. Do either of
Okay.
you have a piece of paper and something to write with nearby? Just curious.
Yes.
Cool.
Hello, we
Awesome.
already did it. Did we just pass?
That's right.
We both held up at the same time.
I was gonna have you write something down and then see if the other person knew what it was without
Oh no. Okay.
yeah, okay. So I'm thinking of, well, it's not me thinking. Um, Dirk, can you think of a number between 1 and 100?
Got it.
Do you want to write that number down?
No peeking, Austin.
No peeking.
And I'm just making a bunch of things on the paper so that he doesn't know how many digits my number is. Okay.
Very nice. Austin, would you like to write down the number that Dirk just wrote down without peeking at your cell phone or doing any such?
Now, my hands
Got
are
it.
right here. No cheating.
All right. Gentlemen, please present your numbers. This could be like a new game.
Oh, that was my other guess.
Oh,
Oh, what number did you pick? No, it had to be between 1 and 100.
Oh, you're
Oh
right.
yes, it was 1 in
I
100.
didn't follow instructions.
But would
That's
you have
okay.
picked this if it was between 1 and 100?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, hands down. I know you would have. He
I
got it
got
right
you.
in
I
his
got
heart.
you. I like the number 13 as well. I think it gets a bad rap, but I love that number. I love that
But I
number.
do believe in my heart of hearts that if he had followed directions, he would have picked the right number.
It's
I have
okay.
no
It's okay.
doubt. I have zero doubt.
It's all right. It's all right. Do we want a round two?
Sure.
Okay.
Gotta redeem myself.
I really,
Can't follow instructions.
we,
All
On the
right.
count of three,
okay. Okay.
draw
Are you
the
thinking? Okay,
we're
go ahead.
thinking basic shapes. Basic shapes, draw the basic shape that the other person is thinking of. What is Dirk thinking of? What basic shape
I'm thinking of a shape. I was thinking
you're
Austin, what
thinking of a
shape
shape?
Austin was.
Oh, that
I
could be
got that.
good. That could be good. Austin's already drawing a shape.
Yeah. So
So
you
what
you
is he
got you got
thinking
to draw
of?
the shape I'm thinking, right?
Yep.
This can go two ways because I think I've mind melded with you, and I think I picked the shape that you think I'm going to pick. So I don't know if I should pick that one, but okay, let's find out.
Oh, all right. And I promise we won't do this all night. Gentlemen, will you show us your cards,
I bet
please?
you I know it. I bet you I know what you picked for me. You go first, and we'll see.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, you saw it here first.
We did. And
Behold,
Austin, yeah, Austin's not a duplicitous person. When he told you he would have picked 13, I guarantee you that's
I
accurate.
believe it too. I absolutely believe it. I probably would have picked 13 as well, or 7, but 7 is so on the nose that I think 13 is a wonderful, wonderful restoring
Austin's
number.
number, I would have picked 69, but
Nice.
Yes. After the
and
Bryan
notice
Adams song, right?
no denial. There was no denial.
That's right. That's right. Well, we should tell people where to find the goods. And would you like to say anything as well about Source Point and this pivotal moment in the
Oh
past year that's come
yeah.
to be?
I uh I've worked myself into a position I never really aspired to have. Um I'm now speaking to you as that's so still weird to say, as publisher of SourcePoint Press. Um I have the great fortune now to be able to kind of help guide the ship of SourcePoint, which includes getting to work with creators like Austin and helping get his creator-owned comics out there. SourcePoint Press is going back to its roots. We're going back to our roots of creator-owned, creator-facing graphic novels, and helping creators get access to distribution through Lunar and Simon and Schuster and Amazon for the creator-owned works. Um, our submission guidelines are on the website, the redesigned sourcepointpress.com website. They're offensively transparent. We are very much a creator focused, a creator friendly publisher. I think it's also we're saying publicly, and I've said this a couple times to a couple of people already, I am not only the publisher at SourcePoint, but I'm also a client. So everyone at the publisher, myself included, gets the exact same publishing agreement. I can't offer anyone a better deal than I crafted for myself, and no one should expect a deal any lesser than the deal that I offered for myself. The reason I'm doing this is because I have incredibly talented friends and peers like Austin McKinley. He did an amazing book called Riot Force. It's a lifelong dream project of his, he's earned the opportunity to get that book in front of as many eyeballs as possible. SourcePoint Press can now help do that, right? And other books that he does, and other books that other creators do, and he creators can still under SourcePoint will own all their own IP. They'll own all their own stock. They'll if they do Kickstarters first, they keep all their own funds for that. We only do a profit split on books that we sell through our distribution channels, only to help be able to pay to sustain those funding channels.
Nice.
I'm not looking to retire and move to an island from SourcePoint Press. I am looking to help grow and extend and push the envelope of the comic book landscape by giving creators an option to get the books that are the most important to them, that they are investing them, so their time, their money, their effort into, as to wide as a platform as possible, as part of a collective of really cool books.
As is the case, I've gotten to do a couple of editing projects here and there, and as people say, when you get a PhD or you do editing or you get to do anything in publishing or creating, you kind of have this key now that you get to open up for other people and you get to invite others in, which is, I mean, the feeling of that is, I don't know if it's as good as creating, better than create. It's its own precious feeling, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Austin's one of the nicest people I know and one of the most talented people I know, and he's ridden with me for a long time. And any one of those things is enough reason to help an angel earn its wings. And I can't do that. And you probably especially don't want to be an angel in things I write. But anyway, um, but to be able to be in a position to provide the opportunity for someone like Austin who loves comics and wants to get his work in front of eyes that would maybe not be available through avenues that wouldn't be available to him otherwise. I mean, that's the name of the game. But I mean, I can talk about it all day. I mean, Austin, I don't know. I mean, you've got Riot Force coming out again through the new Source Point Press, for example. I mean, how do you am I
I think in terms of helping other people make their projects, I mean, we do this stuff because we think it's worth doing, and we like to see what other people make too, and to be able to, you know, to enable as many people as we can to have the same opportunities that we've had. It's awesome. I mean, I enjoy doing that in every meeting.
yeah, it's about paying it forward.
Absolutely.
Um, when I had this opportunity to take over as publisher at SourcePoint, part of me was like, well, you can have your own Lunar and Simon Schuster account now. What kind of person would I be if I didn't provide the same opportunity that I was getting to other people?
Mhm.
And that was my answer, right? I've been the pay it forward guy for 20 plus years with right or wrong and things like that. One of the first times I think we talked was about right or wrong. And there's a little voice in my ear that went, you talked about being the pay it forward guy for all these years. Now you have an opportunity to really do it, not just write a book and put it out there, to actively be involved in the process. Did you mean it? Did you
Mhm.
mean it? And that was a mystery. He was still just chilling in the background. And then he just said, and the answer was, yeah, I do mean it. I do want to pay it forward. Um, I can't promise people success, but I can promise people opportunities to have more success than maybe they would have without this opportunity. And I'm very proud to say that before we even opened our submissions publicly, just me talking to peers, people I knew who were doing the work, we have about 40 graphic novels on our docket before we even opened for submissions. So I hope a year from now we're all celebrating a lot of success. I really do. That's my goal. But mainly, I'm just very honored to be able to have the opportunity to even pay this forward to other people and bring SourcePoint Press back to its roots. That's what this is about ultimately. Bring it back to our roots. Create our own graphic novels, horror, speculative fiction, science fiction, pulp, and creator facing, creator forward, creator positive.
May I say it's in good hands, and that includes the third hand you have there from Chuck as well.
Thank you. I'm going to need all the hands I can get. I've been publishing comics for 23 years. I thought I knew pretty much everything. No, no. Josh Werner is like my life raft right now with the chief creative officer of the company who co-founded SourcePoint Press. Metadata on spreadsheets and things like that. Like this company, you need dashes in the ISBNs. This one you don't, right? But I like learning. I like to think to some degree I'm a lifelong learner. And I'm really just excited to have this opportunity. And I have no problem learning these things if it can pay it forward to help other people out. including Austin's Riot Force, which will be coming out from us in 2026 as well.
And Mystery is on the way.
Yes,
Where might
yeah.
we find Volume 6 and more details on all the things?
Yeah, people can go to Kickstarter and look up Mystery, MRRAGE, or just go to talesofmystery.com. That'll take you directly to the Tales of Mystery website. If you've enjoyed this conversation, if you just like vampires, you
You want
think
to finally
Austin,
learn whether they have super hearing or not?
that's true.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that is also true. Uh, you can learn.
These are the
Wow.
questions that need answering.
These are questions that need answers. Do vampires have super hearing? Right. This is the stuff that we pop each other on when we're writing this. Like, do vampires have super hearing? No. Do they? I mean, it's like, what's the Lord say? What do we say? Well,
Mm-hmm,
but yeah,
mm-hmm.
damn you.
What does Murnau say on that? Yeah,
Yeah, I had a point. I just got totally. People can go to talesofhistory.com, check out the book. You'll get to laugh at stuff like that, and then you'll be horrified by some of the other things that happen. Again, we have I'm new here pledge level where you can get the whole series to date if you're a completist. You can just get volume 6. I have this
It,
rule with any book I write that you can just start there. Any book I write within 5 pages, you'll know what's going on. Right. So if you just want to jump in here, then decide to go forward or backward from there, you can do that as well. T-shirt, sunglasses. We've unlocked the first 2 stretch goals already. So the book it's coming with a Kickstarter exclusive book plate signed by me, signed by Austin. Next up, we're getting a remark from Austin, an amazing illustrator. And then we're going to move into bonus content from there. And you were saying, Austin, I apologize, brother.
there's also tiers where you can get original art and sketches,
Yes.
that kind of thing. I enjoy drawing these characters, and I will draw your favorite one for you and send you original art.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and Austin is, I think, more getting more and more of a rare species in regards to the fact that he draws on paper, right? More and more people do a lot of drawing digitally, and that's not to say that Austin can't and hasn't drawn digitally before, but uh, the fact that you can get original commissions and stuff from Austin as part of this campaign is original art's like gold right now, right? They're not making it anymore, right? When you get one-on-one art from someone as talented as Austin, that's a real treat. You can treat yourself for the holidays if you want, and I'm just exceptionally excited about this volume and to be working out with Austin and to bring this book to life is to be 900 pages into the lore of this series is pretty incredible and very thankful to everyone that's made it possible, including you talking to us about it, helping continue to make it possible.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. Glad to be part of the lore. I know it lives in your mind, and looking forward to seeing where the creative journey takes you next. And I know you have some French fries to get to, so I don't want to keep you from French fries.
I do have some, as much as I like talking about comics, I also really like French fries. So I'm going to get to that.
Yes, it
Very
fuels
fun.
the comics. Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. That's the writing life. That's because you can eat them when you're writing. It's like you're not getting all messy. You can just sit there and nibble
that's
on them
right. Absolutely. You can use them to tap the keys.
oh my gosh, that sounds incredible. Unless they're curly fries.
That's true. That's true. Then it gets cumbersome.
That gets
Yeah,
cumbersome.
that's
That
true.
gets to be too much. And I know you have to catch a flight as well, or get some rest before your flight. So
I do. I do. But
thank you.
many thanks to you both, and certainly glad to have you back in the space in tandem, one on one, or in some other combination thereof. And wishing you great success ahead.
Thank you very much.
You.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I
Absolutely.
hope that you'll get to talk to Austin when Riot Force goes into solicitations
I
for
would love to. We'll
because
plan
Riot
on it.
Force, it's such a blast. It's just unhinged Austin, which is the best kind of Austin. He doesn't have my horror and dread weighing him down. He just gets to go mainline.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, please do come back. That would be fantastic.
Sure.
And thank you for the 4th
All
time, man.
right.
I'm looking forward to the 5th already. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.